unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Boxingego Unpacked. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Teddy Atlas says he's picking Terrence Crawford to defeat Errol Spence when they fight July 29th for Undisputed, plus the Ring Magazine belt. Got a video about that. Check that on the channel. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Best in the business, and it's not even close. Teddy Atlas did a recent interview with Fight Hub TV. He says, quote, "That's what Crawford does. Switch hit, ambidextrous style. And he's a junkyard dog as far as being mean and being vicious when you got to be vicious in a vicious sport where he has that mentality." So according to Teddy Atlas, that junkyard dog mentality that Crawford has is the X factor. He says that he believes Crawford wins for that reason. You know, he's a junkyard dog and he carries this killer instinct kind of mentality. Teddy Atlas goes on to say, yeah, the other guy, Errol Spence, is bigger and can be relentless sometimes and has a better IQ than what people give him credit. I am taking Crawford. It's probably going to be a decision. The argument for Spence, if he goes to the body really well and goes to the body of the smaller man, is you're going to get him. Crawford is going to have something to say while you're trying to get him. With an uppercut, counter shot from a lefty or righty, he does carry the power, even though both of them are millionaires now, and it's important to both of them on a personal level. I am going with Crawford. I like a decision, but I wouldn't be shocked if Crawford hurt him late in the fight, end quote, Teddy Atlas. I am fully 1,000% convinced that the people, the celebrities and boxing trainers and boxers who are picking Terrence Crawford, at least on camera and doing interviews, they're not exclusively breaking down the fight with intelligent things that Crawford does. And really, in my opinion, this is my opinion, they're not really doing a good job of breaking down why Crawford wins. And I will explain. I have yet to hear a fight prediction for Spence Crawford where the person, the boxing trainer or boxer, picked Crawford and illustrated the separation, right? Like, you hear, don't take my word for it. You go listen to the interviews like I did. You'll have fighter A and they say, hey, I'm picking Crawford all the way. And then they follow up and then they'll start telling you what Errol Spence does well. Like, what part of the game is that to say I'm picking Crawford, but then start talking about all the traits that Errol Spence has that's good? That doesn't make sense to me. So here's the thing. Do I think this is a 50-50 fight? Very close to it. Do I think Crawford has a chance to win? Abso-effing-lutely. That's not an issue. I'm not mad if you're picking Crawford. The point of contention that I am saying in this video, and please print that, Boxingego said it, is the people are not doing a great job of explaining to me or the viewer why they're picking Crawford with things that actually make sense from both people's catalog, things they're known for. Like, some of it even seems like wishful thinking. People are saying stuff like, oh, Crawford, he's gonna just box circles around him and things like that. And I'm looking at it like Errol Spence has the better jab and great, I would say he has the better fundamentals. Crawford is more cat-like, agile. He definitely has dog, but let's get to the dog. Terrence Crawford has that junkyard, quote unquote, dog mentality, like Teddy Atlas is saying. I have no problem with that. However, two things. One, Errol Spence does as well. So if you're going to highlight the fact that Crawford's a dog and you're giving a boxing assessment for an upcoming fight and the other person shares that, then how can you exclude it from one person when Errol Spence is absolutely a dog? There's no one that's ever fought Errol Spence that said otherwise. And boxing people say whatever. So even if they did say otherwise, there's no one that's proven otherwise and showed us that Errol Spence ain't a dog and they got way more dog than him. Part B, part two. The other thing that's wrong, on top of it not giving Errol Spence credit for the same value or trait that he possesses. I said this a long time ago. If you ever hear anybody make this comparison, I said this fight is like Ken versus Ryu. Now, they don't have all the same special moves, but when it comes to dog and mentality, they share that in common. Just like the Hadouken, right? So I said this is like Ken and Ryu from Street Fighter 2. That's a bar. Part 2 that's wrong, in my opinion, with these boxing assessments like Teddy Atlas is, on top of not giving Errol credit whilst giving credit to Terrence Crawford for being a dog, is Errol Spence has showed you he's a dog with better competition. Terrence Crawford has definitely been maney and been a dog and been a beast against lesser competition. Gilly had Terrence Crawford as a live in studio guest, and he told him that to his face that he believes Errol Spence had a stronger resume. If you think otherwise, you're probably a fanboy and or don't know ish about boxing. Crawford, he's done what he's done. Great stuff. Undisputed. A lot of the credit goes to the lighter divisions, like 140 where he was undisputed. But at 147, it is not even debatable. Errol Spence has the better body of work. He fought Sean. I don't care about, who stopped Sean Porter, because Errol fought the better version of Sean Porter. See, again, this is why I don't do triangle theories, because boxing is not a mathematical equation. Just because two people share the same name on their resume does not mean that they were the same person in that ring when they both fought him at different times. Boom, write that down. So let's not act like there's some action stars that were very relevant in the 80s and 90s. Guys like Steven Seagal, Jean-Claude Van Damme. However, fast forward to 2023, and Van Damme, that's a childhood idol and stuff like that. But I'm being real because I'm a realist. Those same 80s, 90s action stars aren't in today's blockbusters. Like Van Damme's movies are pretty much direct to DVD, straight to video stuff, and especially Steven Seagal. Anybody seen Richie? Anybody seen Richie? Want to know why he did Bobby Lupo? Right? Complete, especially Seagal, right? So we cannot act like if you star in a movie and you're the co-star in a movie with Steven Seagal, as it holds the same weight as starring in a movie with Steven Seagal when he was doing Under Siege or Marked for Death or one of his earlier works in the 90s. These are two different things. Same thing with Van Damme. Van Damme was a top guy in Hollywood, and that was in the 90s, right? So at the end of the day, we can't act like it holds the same weight as being in a movie with Van Damme today. That's the same thing with these boxing resumes. Fighting a guy, just because you have a mutual name, that doesn't mean they were the same person when you got to him. So I'll argue tooth and nail that point. Errol Spence has a better resume, and he fought the guys when they were more relevant. Like Sean Porter was a champion when Errol Spence fought him, and he was a podcaster when Terrence Crawford fought him, and he wasn't a champion. These are different things. So yeah, he showed, and that was a tough fight. Crawford's own team said he was down in that particular fight, which people conveniently exclude. So again, I'm all for picking Crawford, picking Spence. I don't really care. July 29th, we're going to find out who's who and what's what. That's not an issue. But these breakdowns that I'm hearing are 90% pure garbage. Like, it's not breaking down stuff. And there's like a lot of wishful thinking. People are acting like Terrence Crawford has a Money Mayweather style, like a Pernell Whitaker style. He doesn't. He does not fight like that. He fights a dangerous, risky fight. He gets hit, and he will get you out of there if you stupid or you're not, on his level. I take nothing away from him. But at the same time, it's like people are trying to make Crawford something that stylistically he hasn't shown to be that. So if he pulls out a different wrinkle or gear in this fight, then that's that. But Mean Machine dropped him. Sean Porter fight was competitive. Kell Brook had a mouse under his eye. But guys like Teddy Atlas are just saying that Terrence Crawford has a junkyard dog mentality. So he has a lesser resume, especially at the point in which he fought him specifically at welterweight. And you're not saying anything about Errol Spence having a dog mentality. He's flying through cars and then coming back and fighting Danny Garcia and marking up Danny Garcia's face. One of the worst, if not the worst, in terms of how Danny Garcia looked in that fight ever, right? You know what I'm saying? His face was all beat up and things after the fight. Sean Porter got dropped and said Errol hits harder. You had the fight with Ugas. Ugas had one moment of success when Errol's mouthpiece came out. And then right after that, Errol Spence, how does he not have dog when Errol Spence started after the mouthpiece fiasco that everyone brings up? He started beating the brakes off of Ugas and really bit down and turned Ugas into a cyclops. Ugas said he was bleeding out of his eye for days and weeks and stuff like that. And here's the other thing about Errol that people aren't bringing up. Leave it to your boy Ego in this Unpacked, because I'm the greatest that's ever lived in boxing commentary in the digital space. You look at it, Errol Spence, when guys fight Errol Spence, they do not return to the ring for at least a year, typically. Sean Porter he didn't come back until the pandemic, and he fought a guy like Sebastian Formella. He had a decent layoff after that fight. He needed time off. Danny Garcia said he was depressed after the Errol Spence fight, and maybe he took too many fights that year or something like that. And he didn't come back until the Jose Benavidez fight. Kell Brooks said he was depressed after the Errol Spence fight. Didn't come back for a while. And then he moved up in weight and was fighting like lower tier people, things like that. Guys fight Ugas. He has not been back to the ring. People keep talking about this layoff that Errol Spence is on. Ugas is on the same layoff because they both had each other as their last fight. Ugas has been on the same level layoff as Errol Spence, but one guy was victorious and one guy got the ish kicked out of him and got his eye melted. But the haters and PBC haters and detractors and Errol Spence haters only talking about Errol Spence being on that inactive streak and stuff like that. Ugas ain't returned either, but he ain't returned because he literally said it. His doctor said it's not wise to come back, type of thing. Let me get out of here. We unpack. Introducing Super Thanks right here on the official Boxingego YouTube. Super Thanks allows you, the viewers, to show a little bit of extra gratitude, which enables me as a full-time content creator to push out the content you need in the world of boxing. Underneath all the videos, you will see a heart with the $sign in it. You can enter any amount that you find suitable as a super thanks. A brand new interactive and colorful way to get your comments highlighted and noticed by not only myself, but other people on the YouTube platform. Super thanks, a unique and cool way to show and applaud us full-time content creators. Hopefully you guys enjoy the content. Super thanks. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster. We working.